Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest financial news from trusted sources. Updating daily noontime New York City.
Global economy.
June 1st, 11:21 America, New York. Government bonds come under renewed pressure as U.S. stocks fall. Moves follow turbulent month for global markets and start of Fed's quantitative tightening.
Wall Street Journal markets.
June 1st, 10:52 America, New York. Shanghai is back, but China's young workers are still stuck. China's economy is struggling to produce enough jobs for its educated workforce, a problem that could persist even after COVID-19 curbs are finally lifted.
The Library of Economics and Liberty.
June 1st, 10:46 America, New York. Data. Don't get your hopes too high. A column in the Financial Times reminds us that data, and the more big, the better, are often seen as a sesame key to the door of knowledge. It is even imagined that small data are owned by the person who has chosen to share them on an open platform that belongs to somebody else.
New York Times Business.
June 1st, 10:39 America, New York. Job openings declined slightly in April from a high point. Employers had 11.4 million vacancies, nearly 2 for every worker seeking a job.
Armstrong Economics.
June 1st, 10:28 America, New York. The Judiciary refuses to rule on the 2020 election. The 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals dismissed the lawsuit calling into question the 2020 election. The media immediately jumps on it, saying that the lawsuit relied on baseless conspiracy theories spread by Trump and his supporters that the election was stolen in favor of Joe Biden.
Wall Street Journal markets.
June 1st, 10:23 America, New York. Jack Ma's Ant Group revamps its board. The Chinese financial technology giant said the chairman of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange's operator has joined its board, as it continues an overhaul following its cancelled IPO in 2020.
New York Times Business. June 1st, 10:17 America, New York. Delta says ticket sales are returning to 2019 levels. The company is the latest of several airlines to say that its business is stronger than expected as travel demand increases. Delta said in a securities filing that its profits would end up at the higher end of the range it published in April.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
June 1st, 10:11 America, New York. Housing, childcare, utilities. Nashville faces exceptional inflation hit from all sides. An influx of new residents has caused housing prices to soar in Tennessee's capital, pushing out some longtime inhabitants. Many are cutting back on spending or taking on more work.
Global economy.
June 1st, 10:04 America, New York. Electric vehicles accelerate China's looming dominance as a car exporter. For Japanese and European carmakers, the challenge is that while EVs may be high-tech, they are not complex.
Daily FX Market News.
June 1st, 10 o'clock America, New York. Bank of Canada delivers hawkish 50 BP hike, pledges to act forcefully. USD, CAD subdued. Bank of Canada raises rates by 50 BP to 1.50% in bid to tackle inflation, signaling that borrowing costs will need to rise further and that the bank is prepared to act more forcefully if needed.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
June 1st, 9:23 America, New York. Treasury Secretary Yellen says she was wrong on inflation. The Biden administration official said Tuesday her inflation projections were wrong in statements she made last year as consumer prices began a surge to their highest level in decades.
BBC News Business.
June 1st, 9:12 America, New York. Why are flights being cancelled? There has been significant disruption at UK airports, with flights cancelled and long queues at airports.
BBC News Business.
June 1st, 9:12 America, New York. Why are flights being cancelled? There has been significant disruption at UK airports, with flights cancelled and long queues at airports.
The Library of Economics and Liberty.
June 1st, 9/11 America, New York. Is fiscal policy fairer? Jesse Horwitz recently asked me whether there would be better distributional effects from using fiscal policy rather than monetary policy as a stabilization tool. The intuition is that monetary policy involves the purchase of financial assets, whereas fiscal policy can directly deliver money to the public.
Wall Street Journal markets.
June 1st, 9:06 America, New York. Time to take the E out of ESG investing. The days when selling ESG funds was an easy marketing ploy for fund managers are over.
Global economy.
June 1. 9 o'clock America New York. U.S. and Taiwan launch trade initiative. Roadmap falls short of Taipei's hopes for full deal and inclusion in regional framework.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
June 1. 9 o'clock America New York. Formula shortage worsens, hitting low-income families hardest. New data show out-of-stock levels are deepening in many states, especially in the nation's south and southwest.
Daily FX Market News.
June 1. 8:45 America New York. The New York session. Forex trading tips. When the U.S. session overlaps with the London session, it is considered the most liquid period of the day.
New York Times Business.
June 1. 8:40 America New York. A win for big tech at the Supreme Court. The court blocks a Texas law after an emergency request from groups representing major tech companies like Facebook and Twitter, messing with Texas.
Digital finance. June 1. 7:56 America New York. BNP Paribas head of FI services. Keep it regulated. Bruno Campanon says unregulated disruptive tech is not a threat, as the industry waits for CBDCs. The post-BNP Paribas head of FI services, Keep it regulated appeared first on Digital Finance.
Daily FX Market News.
June 1, 7:30 America New York, sterling price forecast, GBP, USD bullish momentum stalls ahead of NFP. In the absence of high-impact UK data, we turn to the US for insight into GBP, USD price action. A whole host of Fed speakers, ISM data and NFP data ahead.
Marginal Revolution.
June 1, 7:25 America New York, fact-checking increases fake news. Florian Ederer and Weicheng Min have an interesting new paper called Bayesian Persuasion with Lie Detection, which shows that under some conditions fact-checking can increase fake news.
BBC News. Business.
June 1, 5:30 America New York, travel disruption continues as 150 flights cancelled. Airlines and operators have seriously oversold flights, Transport Secretary Grant Shapps says. BBC News Business.
June 1, 5:22 America New York, flight disruption continues with 150 cancellations. Airlines and operators have seriously oversold flights, Transport Secretary Grant Shapps says.